So, Master says in this, we have been understanding this text. We have been understanding mindfulness from this text. So, he says, when we live in mindfulness, knowledge is present. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of real self. And if we are not living in mindfulness, ignorance is present. So, American proverb is that ignorance is bliss. So we use the two phrases. Ignorance is suffering and ignorance is sin. We are a sinner. So simply it means, now we can easily understand, if we are in ignorance, then we claim we are the body, mind, intellect. So this master says negate it. So that negation should not be taken as something negative, reactive. I am driving on the highway, the trees are running behind, the road is running behind. No reaction at all. We know it is false. So, what is false? It is to be negated. So, negative in a negative. So, when we negate it, what remains is the real self. The remainder is the real self. This is what the journey in the first 18 verses, in order to make it clear about what is the state of the mindfulness, he says, he clears, he explains through a metaphor. There is another way to understand it. Sit every day for a few minutes and find out who claims I am something. I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a teacher, I'm an engineer, I'm long list. Go on finding out we are something. We are something. And then examine that something can be negated. So what is the way to understand that it can be negated? If it is not me, if it can be divided into parts, if it is present at one time, it is absent at other time. If you say I am the body is absent in deep sleep. That needs to be contemplated and reflected. I am husband, but I do not remain husband all the time. So, journey starts from recognizing something. I am something. You simply recognize it. You need not to do anything. So, after something, when you recognize you are something, examine what is that something. So, when you examine, you become nothing. So, when you become nothing, that is what Buddha says nothingness and emptiness. So, when there is a state of nothingness in the mind, then we become everything. So, it's a journey from something to nothing, nothing to everything. Nothing to everything. So, what is that everything? That is what the Master explains. We are canvas, pure consciousness. Whatever is superimposed on it cannot be me. When I recognize what is not me, that is an end of suffering. This young guy day before yesterday said that I was too much hurt. I said, give me 3 benefits of hurt. Now you are joking, I'm suffering. I said, give me three benefits of suffering. Then I will also continue to suffer. I will incorporate suffering in my life. There is no there is no benefit of suffering. There is no benefit of getting hurt. So we are bound or we are imprisoned, if I say so. We are imprisoned, bound by identifying with the body, mind, intellect, ego. So the first name of the Buddha was Rahul. Rahul means I am bound. When he got awakened, his name became Buddha. Buddha means awakened. His name was Siddharth basically, but then people started saying him awakened. Nothing changed outside, everything changed inside. We also understood that when I say I know Stephen, I am conscious of Stephen. Without being conscious, I do not know the Stephen. I do not know Sam. I do not know David and Jerry and Ashok. It means what? In the presence of the consciousness, the knowledge takes place. If I am conscious of Stephen, I am consciousness. I am conscious of my heart, I am consciousness. I am conscious of my suffering, I am consciousness. So the moment I am consciousness, the suffering melts away. But when I identify with the suffering, it means I have not negated what is not real self. Do you see that? I am not able to negate what I am not, where I am not able to negate my sense organ. Looking at you, identification takes place. So I am not the real self, I am not the consciousness. But now my mind retrieves the past, what relationship I have with you, with the likes and dislikes, and then I enter into the ignorance, and that is happening at a much deeper level. Canvas is the first, you all remember. Second is the causal body. And then it has to manifest at the subtle level through the mind. And then I am engaged. We fall into delusion. And that is where we started. Ignorance is not only suffering, but ignorance is sin. Sin means it creates unfavorable circumstances of reaction, of anger, of hesitation, of duality, of conflict. We are caught by them, we fall. So, to constantly live in that awareness, I am conscious of anything. Or you can say I am conscious of the world outside. World is separate from me. What is that world? Time, space, objects, people, relationship. I am separate from it. Where is that separation? That because I'm not able to separate, that is why the superimposition is there, and I identify myself. I caught into the ignorance and I am suffering. Otherwise, I can live into the state of mindfulness 24 by 7. This master, in the first 18 verses, he wants to make us aware First thing that you understand that we are real self. Whatever is superimposed on us is not me, cannot be me. So, what to do after recognizing? Negate it. I told you again and again, majority of the seekers on this path, they use the term negating in the form of ignorance first, and they say that we have to react. My family is not conducive for mindfulness. That is why I go to the Himalayas. But you are still thinking, you are still living with the same body. So you are not negating it. So did you understand? You are not negating it, you are reacting to it. We can be in that state of mindfulness anytime, anywhere. So, anytime you have some reaction, anxiety, and anger, duality and a conflict, or getting hurt like this young guy, and this is his fifth case. No, fourth case. He said, I was hurt 3 times in the past, 3 years ago. So I said, you repeated the same thing again and again and expecting a different result? Oh, that's what I'm thinking the fifth time. That now I want to be clear to whom I should have a relationship. So he told me that I have certain criteria. I said, let me know. But before you tell me the criteria, there is a real life story of my classmate. We both were school mates in K-12. Then he became a big engineer, and we met after he completed his engineering, and he told me that I have 25 criteria to choose my wife. So now I found a girl. She meets 22 or 23 criteria. I said, very good. Go ahead. Did you check yourself first? Why the mind is seeking a criteria? No, you don't understand, You always talk of the philosophy. I said, very good. I have no problem. I always talk of the philosophy. To cut the story short, we both were in India long back. It was when we were 24, 25. He got married, and the girl belonged to some European country. Happily, marriage, celebration, everything happened. So he got the permission to visit that European country. So after 6 months, I'm cutting the story short, he was thrown back by the same girl, deported back to India. And it took me 3 years to take care of him because his dad called me and said, oh, your friend is here, but why he is here? So I asked him that, did you meet only 22 criteria? You did not meet 25 criteria. That is why you are thrown back. Now, what is the masses here? The masses is very clear. My mind claims the truth is outside, the real self is outside. That is why I choose the criteria. So I told the same story in a story. You have two stories. So my schoolmate, and then I told the same story to this young guy. Oh my God, so we should not think of the criteria in a partner. I said, first you think, are you healthy state of mind and emotions? First you set your own criteria to yourself, and then you move ahead. This is what the master is saying. Go back, look inside, look inside. So we have understood what we have understood. clear with the metaphor of canvas, pure consciousness. First superimposition is the causal. Those criterias are fixed by the world outside. How the mosquito should be, how the human being should be, how the Stephen should be, how the Sam should be. So that is the causal stage. It is unmanifest. When it manifests, it is the mental subtle stage, and ultimately the full manifestation takes place of the name and the form. Basically, one reality, one pure consciousness is there until we reflect, we reach to a state where the same mind says, I am real self. You are done. You have reached to that state. So now, after 18 verses, every master says that he gave another metaphor to help us understand why the mind creates a wrong notion that you and me are different, you and me are separate. Fact is that we are not separate, we are only one consciousness. So you see that when we recognize that I, you, and all, every being on this planet in this universe is essentially one, appears many. Once we understand that clearly, so what will happen to the likes and dislikes? What will happen to the reaction? What will happen to the anger? What will happen to our competition? What will happen to the comparison? So just think for a while when these big words, which is very common in the modern world, is absent in your mind, what would be your state of mind? So this master is helping us to dissolve. He does not say manage your anger, manage your comparison, manage your competition. No. He says go to the root of it. Understand it from where they originate. And the point of origin is real, then we have to live with that. But if the point of origin is false, negate it. So when you negate, that is what is known as an expansion of the consciousness, or you can say the expansion of the mind. One definition of the mindfulness is also the expansion of the mental consciousness. Think of like another metaphor I'm giving, that metaphor to make you understand. The balloon. You fill the air into the balloon and go on filling the air. The time comes, mind says that is the limit. No, you keep on. And it breaks up, it blasts. So now the mind is merged into the same consciousness. Or you can say the air inside the balloon and the air outside the balloon, they both merge. It is the same air. But the mind was holding back that air, that this is me, this is mine, this is mine. Same way we also do it. I'm bringing you closer to the metaphor that he uses. No one has used this metaphor. It is only found in this text. First, he says that the space cannot be divided. So the real self is likened the space. The real self is likened the space, and that real self is likened the space, and the space is consciousness. Second point, so the space is one, the space cannot be divided. Now we have to understand this metaphor relates to the space. First is the infinite space. Second is the space in the pot. Third, you put the water in the space when you put the water in the space is again reflected in that water. And then he says the space in the clouds. Just first to remember this infinite space, part space, the space in the water, and space in the clouds. By this metaphor, he makes it very clear we cannot be two. There is no two. We are essentially one consciousness. Our real nature is that consciousness or that real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. I gave you the previous metaphor used by another master. You have 10 pots full of water in the afternoon sun, and the sun is reflected in all the 10 pots full of water. So, are there 10 suns or only one? Think of it. How many suns we have? Only one sun. But I see it. So, that is what Master says. You see, we all are different. Fact is that we are not. It is only one sun, it is only one consciousness that is reflected in all of us. Pot, body, water, mind. Consciousness is the sun. We are coming closer to this metaphor because he uses it at a very subtler level. So just imagine, just think of it. Consciousness is one, definitely consciousness is one. We are very much clear. Can the consciousness manifest directly through the body? Not possible. Body is a very physical matter. It needs a medium, it needs a subtle medium. Where is that subtle medium? Is the mind. So you have 10 buckets. When the 10 buckets are empty, the sun is not reflected. Do you see that? Now you fill it with the water. So water becomes the medium. So inside the body we have a mind. Mind is the medium in which the consciousness is reflected. So how can we say we are different, we are separate? We are not even separate from the mosquito, from the elephant, from the tiger, from anything and everything in this world. So in the background, in the mind, the negation is working. With that metaphor, that 10 parts, then we don't see the pot contains the water and in the water contains the sun. So we have negated in our mind the pot and the water, and we say the sun is only one. Sun cannot be 10. Same way. Now, I should never recognize you with reference to the body and the mind. I have to negate it. So what he says, the first is the infinite space. Now we are going to the metaphor and we will go again and again until you are very clear and you think, you start contemplating and reflecting that way. The mindfulness is just natural. So first we say Mahat Akash, Sanskrit word, it means the infinite space, no beginning, no end, one space. Then the pot space. Pot space means the space in the pot. What mistake we do? Consciousness in the body. Pot space. We say space in the pot. So similarly we think consciousness in the body. What is true? The body is in the consciousness. That is the blunder we make all the time. How can you say? There's the infinite space. After that, the pot came. The space is outside and space is inside. So, is the space inside the pot or the pot is inside the space? See the truth of it. So, the fact is, I'm summarizing, fact is that there is an infinite consciousness, all pervading consciousness. In that consciousness, there is a body. In that body, there is a mind. In that mind, there is an intellect. In that intellect, there is an ego. Even the ego is in that infinite consciousness, and the ego wants to separate itself from the others. That's why it creates a division and duality. It claims that I am different from you, you are different from me. My master used to say, if you do not think, you will fall into ignorance. So the first is, he divided into he gives the metaphor of 4 different spaces. And then he analyzes and helps us to understand who is known as an individual. So first, there is an infinite space. Second is the pot space. I made it very clear, the pot space. Now you put the water in this pot. The moment I have a pot, the water is there. The water becomes a very subtle medium to reflect. So whatever is on the top, above the pot water, it will reflect. So what we see the white color, because my ceiling is a white in color. So that roof is being reflected in the water. Do you see the space in the space? Yes, no one has given this metaphor. So the third is pot with the water and the space. And the fourth, what is reflected in that water as a medium. So he gave the fourth stage of this space is the cloud space. So let us go again deeper into this metaphor and think of it this week and see that it's a unique metaphor. Every master says that no one has given such an intense, subtle, deeper understanding of what is real self. First is the infinite space. Infinite space, no beginning, no end. Then we have a pot space. Where is pot space? The space in the pot. That is our normal language, but the fact is, space is, the pot is in the space. Space is not in the pot. Think consciousness in the body. Third, now in that space you have put the water as a medium. The space is reflected in the pot. The space is in the water, reflected. 3 spaces. And the fourth is, he gave us the metaphor of clouds are reflected in that space. You have understood, it's very good. If you have not understood, I'll keep on repeating in a different way. To be very clear, that my intellect should be very clear. My mind should not interfere. Because mind is impulsive. What the heck you saying? What is the difference between pot in the space or space in the pot? There's a big difference. We are limiting the space in the pot by saying there is a space in the pot. We are recognizing the space is outside and inside when we say this inside the space there is a pot. So first is the pure consciousness. That is the space. And just start identifying. Now there is a space in the pot. I'm still speaking wrongly, but that is our normal language. The space in the pot. I am surrounded with the body. I first identify I am the body, and then only I say that space is in the pot. Now I pour the water as a medium. I recognize not only the body, but I recognize the mind as a medium where the consciousness is reflected, and I claim I am an individual with reference to the mind and the body, but the fact is that I am surrounded by this space. So the first is has no beginning, the pure consciousness, which has no beginning and end. Second is the part in the space. So now I recognize the body. Then comes the subtle body. In that subtle body, the consciousness is reflected. The moment the consciousness is reflected, the I thought says, I am an individual, I am different from you. I am rich, I am good, I am bad. Well, a long list comes. Consciousness becomes an individual due to not recognizing what I am not. Pick up again in a different way. When there is only one consciousness, we see that consciousness is unconditioned, unlimited. In the other dimension of the same consciousness, when I recognize the pot or the body, I'm not comparing both. I'm conscious here, you are conscious there, so we two are different. See, we have become different. So I am refusing to accept that there is no sun in the 10 buckets of water, the 10 different individuals. So part in the space. And now the water is there in the medium. Water is a medium is there. The space will be reflected. So that mind is also reflecting you are too far with reference to the body, so hence you are different. The sun in the pot, no worries if you don't understand, so we will just go again and again, but it's not a big deal. The sun, reflected sun in one pot, recognizes the sun in other pot, seeing that these two pots are different, so we are two individuals. Did you get it? Say yes. Do you see that? This is such a beautiful metaphor. So we will understand that how the individuality takes place in the mind. Otherwise, there is no individuality as such. Individuality means I'm different from you, you are different from me. You're a teacher, I'm a seeker. No, there is no difference. You're a man, I'm women, no difference. You are 50 years, I'm 10 years, no difference. Do you go to the Walmart to check? Okay, can you tell me when this tumbler is born? The guy will say it is born in 19th century. Do you want to buy it or not? And we start comparing. And that comparison starts from not thinking. Not thinking creates likes and dislikes. Likes and dislike creates attachment, and detachment causes the desire. Desire causes the delusion, and we start living in ignorance. No worries, we will work on it. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Adjust and align your body. You are conscious of the body with an awareness of negation. You know it is not me. So, what happens, to the water is a medium, the mind is a medium. The mind stops blaming and complaining. I'm not feeling comfortable because the I is being identified with the body. But in a casual way, at a very primary way, primary level, I say, look at the body, you have adjusted the position of the body, eyes are closed. You see you're comfortable. And take the again, being comfortable in a non practice mode. You're aware of the neck joint. Pay attention, there are two parts. I am aware, first part. Neck joint is the second part. Neck joint is seen, it is felt, it is known. And from there the negation starts. So look at I am aware of the neck joint. I am aware remains the same. I am aware of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You see, what is outside keeps on changing. I am aware of the space. I am aware of the space. The space is awareness. What? I'm aware of awareness. Can you see that? Consciousness is self existence. This is the meaning. Consciousness is self evident. This is by the metaphor. You don't need a candle to see the sun. The sun has its own light, its own consciousness, its own knowledge. So the journey of the mindfulness can come to an end even by the very first step. That is where this metaphor takes us to. So we are working at a very with awareness and attention. So when I say, as if you are saying, I'm aware of the shoulder joints to part. So you are ready to negate. Off. I am aware, first part. Once you cease off, that is not I am not. That is why I am not. Are you aware of that? So it's a hidden message. I am aware of the shoulder joints. And the same thing, I am aware of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. What we see, what we know, what we experience constantly changes. First experience was shoulder joint, second was sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now I'm aware of the space. Here also I'm using a metaphor to help us go deeper. When I say I'm aware of the space and the space is awareness, then what? What you say, I'm aware of awareness. That is mindfulness. Really is. There is no superimposition left. There is no causal body, there is no subtle body, there is no physical body. I am aware of the entire body. You see, what we experience, see, know keeps on changing. I am aware never changes. I am aware of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. I am aware of the space. Space is awareness. So, unlike in other practices that we do on Mondays and Thursdays, where I say being carefree. So we talk of the lane, one unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Here, can you see what I'm going to say? I am aware of one thought. I am aware of the experience of the thought it produces. I am aware of the space after that, and I am aware of awareness. When you say good thought, bad thought, it is your experience. So I am aware of the thought. I am aware of experience. The thought cannot exist without the space. So I am aware of the space. The space is awareness. I am aware of, if I say so, of awareness, self-evident. Sun knows by itself, by its light. Same way, I know my real self without the interference of the mind, identification with the body, Nothing else. It's a pure consciousness. That is what we are talking about. Think, contemplate, and reflect. No worries, even if you think in line with the instructions that I am offering you. So, being carefree, we cannot say we are being carefree. When we practice something, then we have many steps. But here, there are no steps. It's a non practice. Thought comes, I'm aware of. And I can bet you, the moment any thought comes, you can say mentally, no worries. Don't think that if you think, then meditation cannot happen. We have a wrong notion. So thought comes and you say, I'm aware of thought. Then I'm aware of the experience that this thought produces. No worries. Why? We already know I am aware is the first part. After of is seen, visible, is not me. There is a negation continuing. Oh, yes. And then I am aware of the space. The space is also negated. But then I said space is awareness. So then what? I'm aware of awareness. I'm aware of awareness, the infinite space here in relationship to the metaphor. So what about the mind? Oh, yes, mind still has a lot of thoughts, but they are too far. They are too far to influence you, to touch you. Why? Negated. Body, negated. The space is everywhere. It is the infinite space. We say the part space, but the very space negates the part. How come it negates? I'm inside, I'm outside also. I'm everywhere. How simple, how powerful, and how natural it is. I am aware as if the infinite space is saying, I am aware. Or it says, I am all pervading infinite space. And then the space encounters the part. The space cannot encounter the part without a medium, and the medium is the mind. The mind says part. So we are using that I am aware. At present it is mind. Pay attention, I'm going deeper. So when I say I am aware of the body, so water, the mind recognizes. No worries. I am aware of the experience, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. All experiences takes place in the mind. So when the mind is saying, I am aware of sensation, comfort, and steadiness, fact is, mind is knowing the mind. And that mind becomes a handicap How? When I say I'm aware of this space, can the mind see this space? No, but can I know this space? Yes. The first transition takes place. And then I use the metaphor space is awareness and awareness is this space. So, what do you mean? I'm aware of awareness, yes. The rest are the superimpositions. And same thing applies. I'm aware of a thought. No worries. Let the thought come, let it go. We are not here to recognize lane one, two, three. No. I am aware plus of thought. I am aware of plus experience produced by a thought. It is happening in the mind. I am aware plus of space. I am aware. Can you really say I am aware of awareness? So I can say in the mind, but it is self evident. It is self existent. Mind is not self existent. Body is not self existent. How do you know that? Find out if there is a cause and effect, if that entity can be divided into parts, it does not have an independent existence, then it cannot be. So the mind, so the body, so the intellect, so the ego, so the thought. Can I divide awareness? Is it independent? Yes. It is self evident? Yes. It is real self? Yes. It is so simple. Answer is big yes, provided we are a seeker. Mind with an I thought does not want to leave us. Why you have not done this? Oh, you have done something wrong? Comparison. Comparison comes. So you are living in an extraordinary awareness. I am aware of comparison. I am aware of multiple experiences. I am aware of the space where these experiences taking place. But space is awareness, so hence I'm aware of awareness. Finished. The way you drive on the highway, you have left the trees behind, the highway is behind, they are moving. You are aware. Fact is that they are not moving. Are you clear? I can tell you these thoughts are not moving in the mind, they appears moving. Now I can make that statement. You're in a non-practice mood, if I say so. Does the space do any practice? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both your palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. Stephen and Sam.
Thank you. I'm thanks for that lesson. I'm not prepared to comment yet on it. It requires a little more contemplation and reflection. What I did find interesting for the practice is something that's happening to me each day. Is that I find this desire to go into this quiet space of meditation, of just closing my eyes wherever I am, and just becoming aware of everything around me, but still being settled in this place of peace and happiness within myself. And it was no different today. So normally on a Saturday, I spend my entire time thinking about this entire lesson and listening to it. I basically made the conscious decision to say, I'm going to find my peace and happiness, and will contemplate and reflect through the week on this whole lesson, and embrace it in a different way. And I was just in a very quiet space and still aware of everything that was going on around me. So it was nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. And it is honest to say, let me contemplate and reflect. The mind cannot easily accept that non duality, that we are essentially one. So when we make a conscious and honest decision, and when that is the way to be a qualified seeker. Beautiful. How are you, Sir Sam?
Oh,
Oh,
very
very
good,
good,
sir.
sir.
It was
It was
very,
very,
very
very
quiet and
quiet and
peaceful
peaceful
today
today
for
for
me.
me.
Quiet and peaceful. So, best part is that let me do repeat the practice and see what makes me quiet and peaceful without doing anything. Beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
very
good.
good.
I
I
really,
really,
really
really
enjoyed
enjoyed
the
the
metaphors or
metaphors or
analogies at
analogies
the
at the
beginning.
beginning.
And,
And
everything is
everything is
nothing and
nothing and
nothing is
nothing is
everything
everything
was
was
my
my
reflection
reflection
during my
during my
whole
whole
meditation.
meditation.
I
I
did have
did
a
have a
little
little
kink in
kink
my
in my
neck that
neck
was
that was
kind of
kind of
distracting me a
distracting me a
little
little
bit, but
bit.
then I
Then I
realized
realized
it's
it's
nothing
nothing
It's
and
not.
and
let
let
go.
go.
So, to
To
Stephen's
Stephen's
point,
point,
lots to
lots to
reflect
reflect
on.
on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, I summarized the entire lesson. I am something, recognize it, negate it. What is left? I am nothing. And be with it, then you become everything. Then you don't see any difference between you and the Sam, you and the Stephen, you and the David. There is no difference at all in that state of consciousness. But when you come to the material life, there, yes, there is a difference. You are David, and here I am. Here is Jerry, and there you are. But that does not create any duality because you have already realized that real self. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm
Very
good,
good,
thank
thank
you.
you.
The
The
mind
mind
loves
loves the
there's
there's
no
no
ending,
ending,
no
no
beginning.
beginning.
It's
It's
just a
just a
continuum.
continuum.
And
And
so
so
initially
initially
the
the
lesson
lesson
was
was
felt
felt
very
very
simple,
simple,
and
and
I
I
kind of
kind of
resonated
resonated
with
with
that.
that.
But
But
then the
then the
mind
mind
also
also
wants to
wants to
complicate it.
complicate it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I
I
noticed
noticed
as it
as it
went
went
on,
on,
the
the
mind
mind
started
started
like questioning
questioning
and
and
throwing
throwing
in
in
these
these
things. So
things.
it
So it
wanted to
wanted to
complicate
complicate
it,
it,
but it
but it
isn't
isn't
complicated.
complicated.
It's
It's
simple.
simple.
Yeah.
And if
And if
that
that
is
is
where
where
we're
we're
rooted,
rooted,
then
then
everything
everything
else,
else,
yes,
yes,
I
I
see
see
you and
you
I
and I
see
see
Stephen
Stephen
and
and
Sam,
Sam, and
but I
but I
also
also
see we're
see
the
we're the
same.
same.
We are the same. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We see both the aspects, the material aspect outside. We see there are definitely 10 suns being reflected in the pot. But at the same time, we see it is only one sun. There is not a question, no doubt about it. Can I recognize without doubt that there are many people? At the same time, I also recognize there is only one reality, and that reality is the real self. Beautiful. How are you, Terry?
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
And I feel the same way that
That
Jerry
Jerry
said.
said
In the
in the
beginning, it
beginning, it
was
was
very
very
clear,
clear,
very
very
simple,
simple,
and
and
it
it
seemed
seemed
very
very
clear to
clear to
me.
me.
Yeah.
But
But
towards
towards
the
the
end,
end,
something
something
was
was
like
like
my
my
body
body
was
was
putting
putting
up
up
resistance or
resistance or
something
something
because
because
it
it
was
was
starting to
starting to
throw a
throw a
lot of
lot of
blame
blame
one
one
at
at
me.
me.
Yeah.
And
And
that
that
was
was
just
just
strange. I
strange. I
don't know
don't know
why
why
that
that
happened.
happened.
I
But
But
am. Yes, go ahead.
no, I didn't
didn't
really
really
have
have
anything.
anything.
I
I
just
just
I
I
thought the
thought the
metaphor was
metaphor was
very. I
I
really
really
liked it.
liked
It
it.
was
It was
very
very
clear and
clear and
very,
very,
Good.
you
you
know.
know.
But then
Then
so
so
I don't
I
know
don't know
why
why I
all of
all
a
of a
sudden at
sudden at
the
the
end
end
stayed
stayed
in
in
the put
Because
in the
the
distractions.
distractions.
because of the distraction, and distraction is because of the thoughts. The thought are stored in my mind at the causal level, and they return and they oppose the metaphor. And when they oppose the metaphor, and then they say, look, you are disturbed because of the body. So, what the wisdom should return? I am aware, first part, of the body. I am aware of what is happening in the body, discomfort. Where the discomfort is happening in the space. I am aware of the space. I am aware of awareness. Finished.
I was also thinking that, even within the pot,
Yeah.
cell is a space between all the molecules.
Yes.
So there is no place where there's no space.
Yes, there is no object where there is. You cannot think of any object without a space.
Mhm. And even inside of the object itself,
Yes,
there's also
inside
space.
of the object itself, and that is where the physicists have come to a conclusion that it is not the atom, electron, proton, and neutron, it's only an energy. But the energy, and from the energy they went to quantum physics. But they still have a problem. Can the energy have a consciousness? Answer is no. So there we solve the problem. So normally, majority of the people with those who teaches you law of attraction, oh, everything is energy, energy is everything. Are you energy? Are you energy or you are? So if you are energy, it means electric energy is conscious of itself. Mechanical energy is conscious of itself. Then body is conscious of itself. Then you have two consciousness, one consciousness of the body and one consciousness of you. Not possible. How are you, Anastasia?
Thank you very much. I'm very calm. It was deep meditation. It was a new feeling when we were coming out of meditation. During meditation, I felt if my body, I felt it was a feeling of every cell body moving, something like that. This space like terrace in the matter, and and it was very, and my heart is full of joy and calmness when I'm listening to you and doing this meditation. Thank you.
Beautiful. I have to make one comment. When the mind controls the physical body, it is a limited consciousness. When that limited consciousness of the mind is released by negation, you feel this pulsation all the time in the body. You feel that level of energy pervading. You feel that extraordinary awareness, which makes you realize that you are not the body. So everyone feels it. Some people express it and others do not. Beautiful. How are you, sir? Ashok, sir.
Thank you, sir. It was very good, not a practice. And that metaphor with the sun with the several pots was very interesting and working.
Working, very good.
Yeah, working well, and contemplating and reflecting on that gives a clear picture of awareness in awareness.
You see two parts. One is Ashok, part number one, and another is Shivani, Ashok's wife. So the mind recognizes the two parts. Who
Yes.
recognizes the mind? And beyond the mind, there is the real self. Who says we both are one?
The both are one because sun is one, awareness is one,
Because
real
sun
self
is one. That is the way we have to see it. So then what happens? Even if you fight with, or she fights with, it's a play and a fun. It's not basically a fight. There is no duality, there is no conflict. You don't listen to me, and you say, honey, you are right, I have not been listening to you. So everything becomes a play and a fun in the world.
play and fun.
Did you get it, Terry? You get different honeys at different times. I mean to say, mate. But she already told me that there is no conflict now. She says, that is all for today. Thank you very much. We'll meet again.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.